Hey there, Cancer. Welcome to your reading for the week of May 12th. This week, you start with this Temple Healing card and this Mystery and Ceremony card. Could be a great week for healing, obviously. I don't know, like everybody in the month of May has, even in the May monthly readings, has had these cards of like healing or spending time healing. You do have the Hermit, though, which is kind of weird because the Hermit kind of has gone through a healing. He has gone through a dark night of the soul. He has found his inner light, and now it's time for him to like come down from the mountain and to move past his healing, right? So, this could say that you have gone through a healing, and now it's time to like step out into the world or to, get attention or whatever the case may be here. So, that could be a good thing. You have the Hermit, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Eight of Wands. This could be something that could move forward for you very, very quickly if you would just get started here, Cancer, because the Hermit is kind of like waiting at the top of his mountain. And, there are some tarot books like the Fearless Tarot, one of my favorites, says that the Hermit's feet are frozen at the top of the mountain, and he could easily take his inner light and put it down by his feet, and he could set himself free. So he kind of needs to move forward in a lot of ways. And I feel that you do need to move forward on something. And it could be a big opportunity with the Ace of Pentacles. But the other thing is you have a lot of light in your last row, the area of the good stuff. You have all golden cards except for the sun, but the sun is golden. And the sun would represent a lot of light entering into your life, or like stepping into the light, or stepping into attention. So I feel that getting attention this week could be a good thing for you, and it could be good for a million reasons, work, business, career, love, whatever you want. You have the Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles is like a big opportunity that could be coming in. I always say that the Ace of Pentacles is just the card of potential, and potential really means nothing. Potential is we get an opportunity, and what we put into it is what we're going to get out of it. So, the Ace of Pentacles really requires us to put energy into something so we can get something out of it. And, that's what I would say here. If you're getting any opportunities this week, I would really make sure that you're like doubling down on those opportunities and nurturing those things that you're working on to get the most success out of them. But the other thing is we have the Eight of Wands. Whenever I have a card that represents no movement, kind of like the Hermit and the Eight of Wands, to me it says that this is something that you need to kind of grab onto, or this is something that you have to stop waiting for. And I feel like I say that to you every single week, Cancer. I'm pretty sure. So, again, it seems to me like there could be like an opportunity in front of you, and you really need to grab onto it because, the Eight of Wands is quick movement. And if you put the work in, I feel that you will be very happy that you did. You have the Sun coming up in your reading. We also go from the Ten of Wands to the Six of Swords. The Ten of Wands can be like external burdens or external responsibilities. And sometimes I feel that the Ten of Wands could be like all the reasons you're giving yourself as to like why. But more, it's like more in the sense that you could be saying, I'll do this thing when my kids go back, when my kids move out, or when this happens, or when that happens. And, I feel this is something that you need to do right now. And it looks like an opportunity to me. So whether, this could be an opportunity a person is giving you, it could just be an opportunity that you see in the world. And I would really be kind of like jumping on any new opportunities that come your way, because I think you will be happy that you did. With the Hermit, you have the Four of Wands. Four of Wands, of course, can be marriage, but I feel this is more setting yourself free. The Four of Wands really is the card of freedom. And, these people are already married, and they're celebrating on the other side. So, yeah, sure, the card can represent freedom, but the Four of Wands really represents completing one thing. It's like a finish line right here, and we have to cross through the finish line and go celebrate on the other side. So we have to kind of like wrap things up. There might be some things that you are completing this week from the past, like projects, ideas, whatever, or you could be closing things out. And it kind of makes sense because you have the Judgment card right next to it, and Judgment is leaving the past in the past and stepping into your new life. With the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is a card of tactics. So Seven of Swords is a good card. Seven of Swords is a golden card. Golden cards in the tarot are meant to be positive no matter what. So I think the Seven of Swords gets a bad rap in the tarot because it's a good card. Really, it's a card where he is sneaking away from this army in the background and he's stealing these swords so they can't be used against him in battle. And the Seven of Swords says you could be getting opportunities where, it basically says there's a better way to accomplish whatever you're trying to accomplish. And the Seven of Swords says do your research. Like if you're working on something, are there better ways to do it? And if the answer is yes, then do it. The Seven of Swords says, and don't just go straight at something. That's kind of the way that I look at it. Instead of going to war, going straight at something, he's finding a way around it. And, that's really more the message I'm getting for you is like, there might be a way around something. Or, it's like there might be a way to do things just differently enough that you're either setting yourself apart or you're avoiding something that you don't want to do. But I mean this in a good way. It's like if you want to start a business, maybe there are certain obstacles that you don't want to face, but there might be a way around those obstacles. And I feel this is saying, do your research on what you're doing to find a better way. With the Eight of Wands, you have the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is kind of like following your enthusiasm, especially in a reading like this with that Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is quick movement. The Knight of Wands I look at as the true builder in the tarot. If he builds what he needs as he goes on his journey. So if you're doing anything this week, you might have to build something to, like I always say, if he comes to a river, he will build a bridge to overcome it. So if you're getting to a place where there's an obstacle, don't worry, you will build a bridge or you will build a boat, because we have the Six of Swords right here, which is a boat going across the choppy waters. And, again, I think if you're working on something, you could easily overcome whatever you need to. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Leg Up card and this Here and Now card. Yeah, I love this Leg Up card. It kind of says the universe is giving you a big boost this week. The Here and Now card says all you have to do is be present and, live in the moment. And I feel these big boosts will be, or a big boost could be coming in for you. You have the Judgment card, the Ten of Wands, and the Eight of Swords. Judgment, these people are being called up out of these coffins. Coffin represents their old life. Outside the coffin is their new life. So it's like the universe is calling you towards a boost, or, the universe is trying to get you to boost up or rise up out of your coffin. And I think that would be a good thing for you to do. All we have to do is let go of the past or change our story with the Judgment card. And we have to start telling the story of what we want, and then we will get it. Clearly you are being guided at this time. We do see a lot of guidance. Even the sun. The sun is like a spotlight in a reading. It shines a light on something that we need to pay attention to. But the sun can also just be our attention. It can say that your attention is being captured this week, or maybe your attention has been on something for a long time. And the way that I look at the sun is usually it's when we are not thinking about anything and then like something pops up in our head. But if that happens like multiple times, like if you have had for the past 6 months, if when you're like in the shower or driving down the road or going for a walk, if you get those random ideas, that is what the sun is trying to get you to work on. So I would follow the sun. You have the Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands is like too many burdens. I like the Ten of Wands because the story of the card is that he planted these 10 wands and he is almost about to reach his home. So he is about to have a harvest. But sometimes I feel that he has picked up some burdens along the way. These could be like other people's responsibilities, other people's issues, other people's problems. And so I feel it's time for you to release those things. But again, I got something more specific at the beginning of the reading that this is like, I kind of feel this is I don't think it's excuses, Cancer, but, it's almost like excuses that you're giving yourself for not doing something that you want to do. It's like you're saying, I'll do this when the conditions are perfect, which I feel like I've been saying to you for like 6 months now. So, clearly it's time to, release those burdens or to not put those like artificial time constraints on what you're trying to accomplish in your life. And it's time to like, really go for it at this time. It's like clearly it's time for you to be boosted up, but at the same time it's not going to magically happen. You have to do things to make it happen. So I would be releasing those responsibilities or those things that are holding you back with the Ten of Wands. You have the Eight of Swords. Again, Eight of Swords with the Seven of Swords makes perfect sense because Eight of Swords is also only seeing one way of doing things when there are many. She thinks she is stuck within these swords, but really there's no swords in front of her, so she could easily set herself free. And again, with the Ten of Wands, I think this could be like artificial time constraints, or you could be saying like, oh, I have to take care of these things before I work on this project, right? That's going to make me a millionaire or whatever it is, Cancer. And so it's like, don't put those artificial constraints in front of you. That's really what I feel like it is. It's like you're saying, I'll do this when my dog goes back to school, or I'll do this when, my kids go back to school or whatever. It's like, I feel like this reading is saying, no, you're going to do it right now. And, that's what I would do here, Cancer, with the Eight of Swords, is like, get started, which I've been saying to you. With the Judgment card, you show up with the Queen of Cups. So, whenever you show up as yourself, it's basically the universe saying that you're in a position of power and strength. But it kind of makes me believe that this reading is all about you. Especially with the Judgment card. Judgment is a very powerful card. It is your purpose and you working on your purpose. And so you probably don't have too much time for everything else with the Ten of Wands. And I feel it would be a great week for you to focus on yourself and the things that you're working on. Yes, with the Ten of Wands, you have the Nine of Cups. Yes, Nine of Cups is total fulfillment, total happiness, wish fulfillment, all those things. So it's like, this is what you could have if you let go of some of those artificial responsibilities. They might be real responsibilities, but, do they have to be done right now? It's like I do this all the time. Like I've talked about this before. Maybe I've said it to you. It's like sometimes I'll know that I need to like work on a project or whatever, but I'll say like, oh, I have to vacuum my floors first. It's like, does that really need to be done right this second? Probably not, right? And so sometimes I think we distract ourselves with things that just aren't as important as, getting something done and then taking care of the other things, right? And that's kind of what I feel this part of the reading is saying. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Hierophant. I would be flexible in your beliefs, like especially right now. We had Neptune move into Aries. Neptune will be retrograding back into Pisces. The Hierophant is Taurus, but I look at the Hierophant as very much appropriate for the Neptune and Pisces energy, because Neptune and Pisces is traditional belief. It's a challenge to traditional belief. The Hierophant is traditional belief, and the Hierophant can represent inside the box thinking. But we had Neptune and Pisces. Neptune and Pisces is like, why do you believe the things that you believe? There is no answer, by the way, just so you know. But, the answer is really we have to look at our beliefs and say, are these beliefs preventing me from being successful? Do they actually exist? Like a lot of what comes up during Neptune and Pisces is like rules that aren't really rules, where, in like, I'm sure if in your job, there might be certain like rules that someone made up, but it's like, do they really have to be followed, or is it really efficient to be following those rules, or is there a better way? And I don't know, I can't answer that question for you, Cancer, but I would be looking at the rules that you put in your own life and say like, are these really actually like rules that serve me, or am I just making this up? And like I said, I can't answer that question for you, but I would look at those things with that card. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Quieting the Mind card and the Oracle's Gift card. Yeah, Pisces had something very similar in their reading. It could just be one of those weeks for water where it would be a good time to like quiet your mind, spend some time with yourself so that you can get answers with the Oracle's Gift card. What I said to Pisces as well, and I'm going to say to you, is I kind of feel this could be one of those weeks where, if you have some sort of intuitive thought, keep it to yourself and just get started. Because I think that if you share your ideas with other people, they just probably aren't even going to understand what you're talking about, and that might ruin it. So, it could be one of those weeks where you should work in silence. And, it might be kind of a collective vibe. I don't know. I just started this set of readings, but, Pisces had something similar. You have something similar. So it just seems like one of those weeks where we could be downloading a lot of information, but if we tell people, they're not going to see it. Only we can see it. So, I would only listen to yourself. You have the Six of Swords, Three of Swords, and the Emperor. Six of Swords moving on to calmer shores, or heading towards improvements. So I feel that there could be a lot of improvements. I'm pretty sure in your May reading, for you, Cancer, we were talking about how May is kind of like an improvement month for you. Of course, things aren't going to be perfect, but you are making improvements, or things that you're doing could be improving your situation, and I feel that would be very good. You have the Three of Swords. It's like, I don't know, I feel there are things that you're healing with the Three of Swords. And, I think that there could be like little triggers that are coming up for you, whether you realize it or not. It's kind of weird. Like sometimes I have a card in a reading and I feel like it's disconnected from the reading, if that makes sense. It's part of the reading, but I feel like it's something, it's like something else going on, something different going on in your life. And that's kind of how I feel with the Three of Swords. It's almost like it isn't part of the reading, but it is, if that makes sense. And, I kind of feel that some of you, it's like, could be having, if let's say you're in a relationship, or what, this could also be a business relationship, a friendship. It could be your relationship with your parents, whatever. But I do, like, I'm not going to sugarcoat what I feel on this Three of Swords. I think that there could be moments this week, and maybe this is already happening, Cancer, where it's like a relationship is kind of, pushing on some buttons, I feel, that you have. But I would look at those things because, this reading is giving me a very independent vibe. And it's like really no one can make us feel a certain way because the feelings are coming from us. So we are the one that's feeling it, right? So it's like people always say to me, this person did this and, they hurt my feelings and they made me feel bad and all this other stuff. I'm like, well, actually, no, you are the one that's feeling bad. Those feelings are coming from you. So you can blame that person, sure. But, really, if we're being honest, you could choose not to feel that way, right? Regardless of what that person is doing. And, I believe that the reason I say these things is because I believe when we're truly in control of our life, no one can make us feel anything. Right? And that's when we are truly in control, when we are the ones that choose how we feel, when we are the ones who choose how we see the world. And I think this is going to be very important for you because you have the Magician. It's like, even if you have, a miserable partner, and I'm not saying that if you have a miserable partner that you should stay with that person, but I'm just giving you an example. Even if you had a miserable partner, could you take control and still be happy? That's like what the Magician in your reading is saying. Or, even if you have a boss that's pissing you off, can you rise above it and not allow it to control you anyway and act as if it doesn't even exist? When we do that, we really take control and we make things happen. So that's what I would do with that card. Also, you have the Emperor. The Emperor says you need to be the boss. And I kind of feel this row is like your future self is saying you need to be the boss of your emotions and, kind of do your own thing. Or, take control of yourself. And that's really what I would do with this card. I'm not really getting anything else. So there you go, Cancer. With the Six of Swords, you have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles, like work hard, play hard. I do feel it would be a good week to balance your energies. But there's also these boats on the back of the card here. We were kind of talking about this earlier, that there's something you want to do with the Ten of Wands, but you're like putting other things in front of it. And, I always say on the Two of Pentacles, the waves, they start very small over here and they get bigger as they go across the card. I almost feel like something is getting harder to ignore, Cancer, like something you want or something you want to do in your life or an experience that you want to have. It's like sometimes we just have that unexplainable pull towards something. And that's kind of what I feel in this reading. I've been feeling this for a while, Cancer, is that like you have an unexplainable pull towards something. Could be anything. It probably involves your whole life because of the Magician. The Magician says sometimes we have to reinvent ourselves to fit into something. And, I kind of get that here where something is like, has this pull. It's pulling on you. With the Three of Swords, you have the Death card. Death is transformation, and death is sometimes about letting something go and kind of, being reborn. So, I don't know, you have two cards of rebirth here, right here. Judgment, death, and then we have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands is about going somewhere you've never been before. So a lot of you could be kind of like changing your life in a big way with these cards, and you could be moving in new directions, which I think would be great. Going this way, we have this guy right here. He kind of looks like the Hierophant, and he's begging for his life, but this can represent the beliefs that you hold on to, and especially with the Hierophant. Eight of Swords, thinking outside the box. There could be some beliefs that you're letting go of that have maybe kept you safe for a certain period of time, but maybe they no longer serve you. With the Emperor, you have the Five Wands. It's like conflict and competition. If you do want love, I feel like this reading's all about you, Cancer. I don't really feel like it's about a person or anything like that. But it could be. I feel like if you want love, there could be a person that you're like, you wonder if there's competition for that person, or maybe you think there's a lot of competition, but there actually isn't. So I would let that go. This could also be the conflict I was feeling on the Three of Swords. It doesn't feel like conflict. It feels more like, again, it feels like more like someone is, pushing your buttons is more the feeling I get here, where it's like, it's almost like you're saying to yourself, if this person would just act this way, I would be okay. But I think again, I'm not calling you out, but I think you need to look at that. It's like when we and I catch myself doing this all the time. So I am far, far, far from perfect. Let me say that first. But, it's like when we say this person's doing this, and I need them to do this for me to be okay, then we are not in control. So I will always encourage people to say, like, okay, I'm saying to myself, I need this person to change, but really I can change. I can choose not to let them affect me no matter what, right? And when you do that, then really good, magical things happen. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Do Nothing card, and you also have this Moonrise card, which says cleansing. That's kind of interesting. Do nothing, right? Have no reaction to this person, if it is a person. It might not even be a person. It could just be something that's happening in the world, or something that is happening in work or whatever. And cleanse your energy. Take care of yourself. This reading, I think it would be, I'm surprised the Empress hasn't shown up in this reading, because, I think self-care, taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself this week would be an amazing thing for you to do. You have the Magician. Yeah, you are the one that is in control of your reality. And the Magician can sometimes represent reinvention. To get more than we have right now, we have to become a different person. It's like if you make $50,000 a year and you want to be a millionaire, it's like you can't be the same person. It's like those are two totally different things. Someone who makes $50,000 versus one that makes $1 million, they have different habits. They have different belief systems. They have different ways of talking to themselves, right? And the Magician is about adopting that. Same thing with love. It's like people who are in love, they have different ways of acting, different habits, different ways of talking. And I feel the Magician is saying, step into the energy of what you want. And if you do that, you will get it. And it might seem magical, but it really isn't. So I would do the work. Now, the Magician is also, when he shows up at the end, I always pull the card he's pointing to. You have this Birds of a Feather card. Yes, you need to match, literally, what we said. The Birds of a Feather card is like about that you are the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So you need to surround yourself with the energies of what you want, and then you will get it. Plain and simple. You have the Sun. Yeah, it could be a very happy week for you. The Sun makes the whole entire reading more positive. So there could be a lot of happiness and joy coming in with the Sun. This is a very playful energy. There's this wall back here behind this child. This is the wall that we all put up against our inner child. But what I wonder is, this is showing up in the good stuff, and I'm wondering if it's saying protect your inner child. And if you can do that, then things will go very, very well for you. So that's what I would do. You have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands is a card of expansion and growth. I do feel all water signs are feeling this energy, where it's like, I feel that water signs are saying to themselves, I don't know what to do next. But no, you actually do. You're just, you're in that, what do they call that? Liminal space, right? Liminal space is when you're kind of like in this in-between world, and you are not moving forwards, you're not moving backwards, kind of like purgatory. But really, you do know what to do. You just have to take a bigger leap. You have to go places you've never been before. Like I said, the difference between 50,000 and $1 million is a lot between those two people that make that much money. And so there are some big leaps you're going to have to make to get into that space. But actually, I think you could do it very quickly if you did it. So, I think this is saying take the leap. With the Magician, you have the Strength card. Yes, this is going to require strength. It's not easy to be like, oh, I'm just going to ignore this person pushing my buttons. That's not easy. But like when you get there, it's good. So, that's what I would say here with the Strength card, is I would say that when you get to that place where you can really not allow other people to affect how you feel, then that is true power. And, the Strength card is about you developing that power, Cancer. With the Sun, you have the Queen of Swords. Yeah, really good, because the Sun is great clarity. The Queen of Swords is clear for the first time. She only has clouds halfway up her body. And so this could be you seeing things much more clearly in your life. With the Three of Wands, you have the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles is like good news coming in for you or new opportunity. And with the Three of Wands, he needs to get on those boats that are on the ocean in front of him, and he needs to go in a new direction in his life. He needs to go on a new adventure. And I feel like going on a new adventure would probably be very good for you. You have this Caterpillar card. It says, things will not always be this way. A change is coming. Definitely a big change. I don't remember where I said it, but I might have said it on the Six of Swords or the Magician or something. But, we're in a time of change. It is pretty obvious. Or didn't you have another, change card in here? Or am I making that up? I could be making that up. But, again, changes for sure. You have this Bell card. It says announcement on it. Page of Pentacles is an announcement. So, there could be a big announcement or good news coming in for you here. You have this Boot card. It says increase your efforts if you want to achieve your goals. Yes, we said it with the Ten of Wands. I would say increase the right effort, is what I would say here with the Ten of Wands. Kind of, not to talk too much about myself here, but it's I teach YouTube on the weekends, and it's so many times people will come to me and they'll be like, I spent the last week working on my channel banner. And I'm always like, why? I'm like, is that going to grow your YouTube channel? The answer is no. Does it help? Sure, maybe. But you shouldn't spend more than 5 seconds thinking about it, right? You should be creating videos. That's what I feel here. It's there's something you want to do, and it's don't put what's important. It's almost like you're putting something in front of what you need to be doing. And I don't know what that is, but I would focus on what is actually going to lead to the result, right? You have this Bird Perch card. It says, waiting for news, package, or letter. There's definitely news. Whatever you're waiting for, Page of Pentacles is the news. Literally, Page of Pentacles is the news that you've been waiting for coming in. You have this Pineapple card. It says reconciliation on it. This is kind of not really reconciliation as a past person. This is the universe is kind of bringing energy back to you and it could be in the form of karma or positive karma or something like that. And that's kind of what I feel here. But pretty interesting reading here, Cancer. I do like it. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your week.